Hello and welcome to episode 5 of my Working with Evernote series. In this episode, I want to show you how I use my Evernote on a daily basis. So in the previous episodes, I showed you the basics of setting up Evernote, going through notebooks, the anatomy of a note, the basics of tagging, and how to get the Evernote web clipper, which is an essential tool if you're going to use Evernote properly. So in this particular episode, what I want to do is I really need to send an article into Evernote. So let's use the article that I used in the previous episode. So I'll go to my website and I will go to the blog and get the article that I used in the previous episode so that you know how. Now I have my Evernote web clipper set up here, so I can click on that. I'm going to have the simplified article. I don't need that, and I haven't set up this properly on my laptop, but that's okay. So there we go. I will save that now into my inbox. That's clipping, it's syncing, and it's done. So let's go back into my Evernote and I'll just click on sync. There we go. Right, so I'm going to need this article just to show you how to set up Evernote, how I process a note on a Saturday. But let's just start off down the shortcuts. These are all the things that I'm going to be accessing almost on a daily basis, and I do change this quite regularly depending on what I'm working on in a particular week. And then you get the recent notes, which again, I usually find this very useful because I might want to add something to a note that I collected recently. And then, as we have in the web version, we have notes, notebooks, and tags. Now, notes you've seen, but let's go into my notebook setup. Now, this setup is, I suppose, a hybrid of something that I learned from Enrico Nahler, who did a guest blog post for Francesco D'Alesso, and let me see if I can find it. The guest post was fantastic, and I learned so much from Enrico, and I've got a lot to thank him for because it was very, very, very useful for me. I will put a link into that at a later date, but let's just go through the what I have here on my notebooks. I've got my current project stack. This is very important to me because these are where I keep all my current projects, and they're both personal and work projects. I don't distinguish between the two. So for example, Korean is a personal project. Plan of Action is also 2017 Plan of Action is also a personal project, but the rest of them are business things that I'm actually working on at the moment. So that's my current stack. Then I have my two main notebooks, which is General Reference Work and General Reference Personal. And I try to keep these as simple as possible. Now, originally I used to keep Free Talking inside General Reference Work, but I use Free Talking project very, very, very frequently. And so I decided to create a separate notebook for that because I like to keep all my articles in there. Someday maybe is things that I would like to do in the future, and then Dream Collage, which I really want to show you because it's just, Dream Collage is a great notebook to have because if you really fancy something or you would really like to buy something in the future, this is a place that you can just drop things. So I've got things like my Aston Martin DB9. It's been ever since I was 12 years old I've wanted to own an Aston Martin, so I keep my Aston Martin pictures in there. I would also love for an everyday car to have a Range Rover Sport. It's a little bit out of my price range at the moment, but I would just love to have this, such a beautiful looking car. And I think since about the age of 8, I've always had a love of Range Rover. I've got here 50 examples of beautiful Scandinavian interior design. I do love to see simplistic, beautiful interior design, so I keep this one in here. This is a Range Rover Evoque, which is probably more in my price range, so that's why I keep it something in there. This is a dream that I would love to do, is to have a Land Rover Defender, because they don't make them anymore, but I would love to have one and just to travel around the world in a Land Rover Defender. And this one is again a most stylish batch. Again, it's more linked to interior design. So I just wanted to show you that because Dream Collage is a great place. If you need a bit of inspiration and you're wondering, why am I doing this? This is really one of the reasons why you might want to do it. And then I got my archive. Now I've been using Evernote since 2009, and I've got quite a few notebooks in there for archiving. Okay, tagging is where Enrico and Nahler's ideas really did resonate with me. And so with my projects, I start with the word project and then dash Evernote creativity, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, business creativity. And I do that clients, ideas, interests. Interests are like personal interests, Cary Grant, clothing style, exercise, gentleman history, Ian Fleming, and so on. I've got my reference materials, stats, addresses, Apple design, design concepts. I've even got one for Todoist here, which keep a lot of stuff for Todoist. I'm trying using Slack. So all these things are just reference materials that I keep. And someday maybe are things, holiday ideas next time in London. Purchases is a very good one to have, because these are the things that are not dream purchases, but things that I would like to buy in the future. And going out, I don't go out often. And then I've got my work, which is got all related to working projects that I might do in the future. So these are my tags. Now, how does this work? Why do I create this? Now, let me show you this with my inbox item that I created earlier. So I've got a better you, you have the power. Now, let's say this is related to productivity, which it is. And I know that productivity I have under reference. So all I have to do is type R, and suddenly all my reference tags come up. So it's like a drop-down menu. And I can just go down to productivity, click on that, and I have my tag, and then I can just move that to my personal general reference, and boom, it's gone. Now, it does take a little while to get used to that tagging system, but I've been using this now since January, early January, and I found it such a wonderful way to do tagging, because when I'm looking for something now, I know whether it's an interest or a hobby or something or work related. So there you go. That's how I use my Evernote on a daily basis. Most of the time, I'm just dumping articles into my inbox, and I will process on a Saturday night. I also use drafts for iPhone and iPad, where I send a lot of materials for ideas like YDL video, Your Digital Life video channel. A lot of my ideas come in from that, simply because I can just dump ideas in there and then come back to it at a later date. Ideas for blog posts and so on. So all that is there, and that is how I use Evernote on a daily basis. The previous 5 episodes that I showed you, that was how I used Evernote, just to show you how to set it up basically. This is how I use Evernote on a daily basis. So I hope you found that useful. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel if you want to get the latest updates. And until the next episode, episode 7, I wish you all a very productive week, and see you soon.